Hey, what's up? My name is Johannes. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk about values. As I was working on myself over the last few years, clarifying my values was one of the most important steps that helped me tremendously in my life. So I thought I'm going to make a video and share some of the things that helped me the most, some of the steps that I took to identify my values. And if that's something that you want to do as well, I hope that this video will help you. When I was new in my current job, we had an onboarding call from HR in the first week. And at some point, the lady who did the call closed the presentation accidentally so that we could all see her desktop screen. And this was really funny because she had one of those motivational quotes as a background image. And it was a photo of a tropical beach with a sunset. And it said, "You are always just one decision away from a totally different life." And I thought that this is really funny because it's an onboarding call for new hires, but it also made me think. Because while the quote is pretty corny, there's also a lot of truth to it. Our decisions have a lot of power, and they actually have a lot more power than we usually tend to admit. There are some decisions that obviously have a very big impact on our life, like whether we get married or not, or go to college or not, or what kind of job to apply to. But not only big decisions make a big difference. Even small everyday decisions can make a massive difference in our life. Decisions about what we eat or whether we commute by bike or by car can over time have a really drastic impact on our health. Or when you see someone you find attractive on a train and you decide not to talk to them to get to know them, that could mean that you miss out on your future wife or husband. Making these small decisions doesn't seem to do much in the moment, but over time they compound and they really can lead to a totally different life. Every day we make countless small decisions, and how we decide will determine our future. So we need to make decisions in a way that they support what matters to us and that they bring us closer to the life we really want to live. But how can we know whether a decision is a good or a bad decision? Sometimes it's obvious what a good or a bad decision is, but not always, because what a good decision is depends a lot on where you want to go. So to keep walking in the right direction, we need a compass. We need something that we can look to guide us whenever we have to make a decision. And that's what our values do for us. Our values are the things that are most important to us. So they are what should guide and influence our decisions. But they can only do that when we know what they are. So how can we identify our values? In order to identify your values, all you have to do is ask one simple question. And that question is, what is most important to me? Think about this question for at least a week and keep a list where you write down all the things that are important to you. And you can just write down single words like adventure or health or love, or you can write down short phrases like being a good friend. If you find this difficult, there are some questions that you can ask yourself to get more clarity. Who is a person you admire? What traits of that person do you admire? How would you like to be remembered? What is your dream job and why? What would you do with your life if money wouldn't be an issue? What do you find yourself thinking about most often? What does success mean to you? You can follow up each of these questions with the question, and what does that say about my values? By thinking about the question, what is important to me, and asking the follow-up questions, you should be able to create a list of values that you can now whittle down to the most important ones. Look at your list of values and ask yourself, if I could only choose one of these values, which one would I choose? Which one is the most important to me? Just go with your gut feeling here and write down the first thing that comes to mind, and then repeat that 2 more times, and now you have your top 3 most important values. Once you know your most important values, you have already taken the first and the most important step in living in alignment with your values. But I think it's really helpful to go a step further and closely look at each of these values so that you can clarify what they mean to you and how you can align your life with them. So take out your journal or a piece of scrap paper or your notes app on your phone and write about your values. The first question I would ask is this really important for me, or is this only something my ego wants or something that I do for others? Especially things like money or fame are things a lot of people care for, not necessarily because those things are actually important to them, but because of societal expectations or because we care about what other people will think about us. What does this value mean to me? For example, if you wrote down adventure as one of your values, what does it mean to you? Does it mean traveling around the world and living out of a backpack for a few years? Or does it just mean being more spontaneous and open to new experiences in everyday life? Or both. And once you have clarified that, you can ask yourself, do I already live by this value? And if I don't, what would living by this value look like? What would it look like if I aligned my life with this value? And finally, what changes can I make in my life to align my actions with this value? When I did all these things, I found that it gave me a lot of clarity. Whenever I need to make a big decision, I can look to my values and see where they guide me. And by looking at my daily actions through the lens of my values, I can work on aligning my life with my values and becoming the person that I really want to be. I hope that was helpful or interesting. If it was, like this video, and if you want, write in the comments down below what your values are. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new to this channel, and I will see you if you want in my next video.